Hello and welcome everybody to the Breakthrough Your Limiting Beliefs Summit. Today we have a special guest with us, and I'm your host, Daniel Stather. And today we're again going to find clarity, understand your purpose, and quickly remove blocks to create an amazingly authentic life. So today we have with us is Brenda Leanoff. Welcome, Brenda.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to be here today. I love talking about how we can be authentic and what our purpose is and here in our time on earth. So I appreciate the invitation.
Oh, you're very welcome. And just to let you know what Brenda does, she is an actual intuitive guide. She's an energy practitioner where she has numerous modalities to use the appropriate method for each one, and she taps into what you need and are ready for. And so just Brenda, can you just tell us high level, like how did you discover your talents and gifts and what you're doing today?
I would assume, Daniel, that a lot of people that are coming to you, listening to you, they're already intuitive, but they don't maybe they weren't told they're intuitive, but they felt kind of different. And I think a lot of us that are very intuitive feel different and maybe kind of ostracized or not part of the family. And I always felt that way. And it wasn't until, Creator kept showing me this and kept this experience and that experience, I'm going, okay, the way that I feel, not everybody feels. And it's not a bad thing. It's just I'm highly intuitive and you can see things. And I don't mean that in an ego way, but you can see through things that other people can't. And so it was honestly, I kept having experiences in life and which caused physical breakdown. And it kept happening and happening. And then finally you go, I wonder if I should look into this modality. So say it's EFT, or maybe I'll go see a shaman, or maybe I'll go down to Arizona and sit out with a shaman in the desert, or like you get pulled, you just get guided, like you're curious. And a lot of us are very curious. And I think you need that curiosity to start asking questions where things just don't feel right. But again, I would imagine that a lot of people that are even following you are intuitive and maybe haven't put that totally, that formatted that in their mind, but we are. And that's why we're here.
Yeah, very true. I can, describe many experiences where you didn't even know why you went to some place, but it all worked out and things happened to your benefit. Yeah,
Exactly. It's
right.
amazing. It's amazing when you think about maybe how you met someone, or you were guided to go to this Tao seminar, or whatever it is. And you just get pulled and guided. I know that the more that we can clear away what's in the way, these blocks, and a lot of it's PTSD, we don't even realize we're holding on to it. But once we can identify and clear it, then our intuitiveness gets stronger and stronger. And then we're connecting to the right people. We're making those connections. And we need to be highly intuitive souls, especially right now with what's going on within the world, because there's so much going on. We need to tap into that intuitiveness, or some people call, your own internal GPS, but it's essential. It's not maybe, but it's absolutely essential so that we can keep our head above water, as in balance and stable as possible within these times, so that we are more joyful no matter what this chaos is going on around us.
Yeah, very true. Your disposition of looking at life in a positive spin does help to try to maneuver everything that's going on, not only outside you, but inside of you.
We have to recognize that it's there. Like I was just on a call, and many people may not recognize or realize that we're holding on degrees of post-traumatic stress. it's impossible not to have levels of that. And not only do we have it, but our ancestors most likely as well. So we can have generations and generations and generations of that energy of PTSD all when we come into Earth. So when something happens, when we're being mandated, when we're told to do this, to do that, when it doesn't feel right, that can trigger us and just reignite this PTSD. So that's really important to know, because to deny, like, no, I'm fine, everything is fine, everything's good. It could be, it's in your systems. You don't realize it, but as a human being, there's not one human being in this world, who doesn't have some degree of it, because we're also tapped into the collective. So we're all kind of walking around on Earth with levels of PTSD. And this has really become forward today, in particular with the group that I was with, and just knowing that and recognizing that in myself. So that's very important, to tap into what's related to it. Why is it there? What's happening?
Yeah, very true. And that's one of the questions I was going to ask you, like, how does one find the clarity when sometimes maybe it's unconscious or just unaware of that, patterning that they have, or just habitual way of thinking? What would be a tip you would give somebody, or how would they discover that?
Well, if you want to go down the rabbit hole, I certainly do that in my one-to-one sessions and my past life readings.
Right.
So in a lot of times, what I will do is take a person, and it's called a cording or an umbilical cord, connecting to their ancestors. So maybe you don't have to know everything that's gone on. It could be like a million and one things that's happened throughout time, but just knowing that it can, you can work on yourself and clearing the cording, and that's something that I do. But the thing is to help other people do it for themselves. So that's something more that I would take a process through and help the individual, because there can be like a million and one things that's carried into this, actually within the blueprint of our DNA. So where we would come into Earth, not with just the color of your eyes and it's your skin tone or whatever, but it's in our DNA. So it's a process. It's not going to happen overnight. And the more that we clear the density of where we're connected, like in a biblical cord, you can think of that, any type of cording, the more that we work at that, then we get more ideas and intuition, and the more the lightness comes in. It's a process, and it's not going to happen overnight.
Yeah, I can totally relate. It's like the best description I could come up with is like we're like an onion, and every time you peel a layer back, you realize there's another onion, and you go, "Oh my gosh, I didn't even know that was there." But you had to get rid of the first layer to get to the second layer, and so on. So yeah, very interesting. Now, in relation to somebody who is maybe trying to find their way to discover their purpose, how would that be something? Is that easy to find, or does just some people just fall into that, or
I think
in your experience?
what I found for myself, when something comes very easy to you. So for example, it could be very easy that you're interviewing. That's natural. You're not having to work at it. When something comes very easy to you, and it could be, oh my gosh, almost anything. Sometimes we discount that. We go, well, everybody must be able to do that. Everybody's everybody can blog, or everybody's an artist, or, oh, that's so easy. So, you discount those strengths that you have. So what I would do is just like, what are you strong at? What comes naturally to you? Not where you're, at a job and you just, it's just drudgery. It's not making you feel good, but you're just forcing yourself. Like, what is it? And take those qualities and how can you turn that around? I worked 30 years corporate, and I had like health issue. Then I come back from disability, then be like, God said, oh no, you're not. This is going to happen. It'd be like something would happen and I'm back off again. It was to teach me, but that's in a hard way. But I had to go through that to finally step into what I'm doing now. So now you go, okay, so you think of what skills do you have? You worked in an office or whatever that is, but then how can you add, maybe it's the energy work. How can you blend what comes naturally to you for what you're already doing? And believe me, there's a lot of ways, and we're entering those times now. For example, I've been working with one client. She is a policewoman in the United States, and had issues with her knee surgery, but she went and works with horses. Well, of course, what a wonderful way of, so here you are, you have all these experiences as a policewoman, but then you want to work with horses. And so how are you going to blend that? Well, there's ways to do that. So it's not just, it has to be one way. Look for your strengths. Don't discount all those years you put into whatever it is, schooling to become whatever, and it's just not feeling right. There's ways of making that work for you. So where you're bringing in, well, the left and right brain, I guess, but you're blending. And that's what I do. I help people find that niche. And I get my ideas, my inspiration of how you can, like what I'm doing now, how I've got all those years of corporate. Why would I throw that away? It's ridiculous, because I've got so many strengths that came from that. But now I'm bringing in this intuitive energy work and blending it. So I believe everybody, if you don't have to leave something alone, go for what comes naturally to you and how you can make that an advantage.
Yeah, that's great clarity right there too. And I like how you brought that up where, sometimes we really look at what we did in the past and we kind of discount it. You say, well, I just had to go through that because I maybe forced myself to, or just didn't realize there was another option. Where you said, just think outside the box and keep asking the question. That's helpful because, how do you, also to a follow-up question to that would be, would you think that journaling helps, or is it more of the sit and just ask a question and wait for an answer or
Well,
something?
personally, I'm not very good at journaling, so that's not my thing.
Okay.
So I listen. I just listen to messages that are coming to me. And maybe you go like, okay, ask, God or creator, show me, bring me the right people that are a match for my frequency, for my vibration. They're going to help me. Like, put out those prayers, requests, do that. And you'll be surprised. We got to be open to it. But if you're going like, oh no, nothing's going to help, I'm just not feeling positive about this, then there are tools, even some simple EFT tapping, releasing all those fears and doubts. I mean, there's so many ways that you can start helping yourself. It could be journaling, could be you do some creative drawing, and because you're also releasing at a cellular level, maybe you just feel like, okay, I just need to get this out. And so you're just like going like crazy drawing and whatever that is that you feel guided to, and then you're clearing and you're releasing. There's various methods, whatever you feel guided to. And I certainly help people with that to get to that point so that it's not a struggle, but it comes naturally. So everybody's different. We all have our own traits and personalities.
Yeah, very true. That's what we make the whole life experience unique, right? Because we just never should never assume, right, that we understand this person to their core when they're just so dimensional.
Very dimensional,
Yeah.
absolutely. And we probably have all heard this, but we're here right now for a reason. I didn't survive, 3 serious surgeries where they're shocked that I came out of it for no reason at all. I'm here. I don't know about tomorrow, but I know I'm here today. And so what are we waiting for? What do we wait for when you've had close calls? And we all could have close calls, like even driving, but we know. But where the team is shocked that you've survived, then it without a doubt you have a calling, and not everybody needs to go through that, but it's really we're here. Let's take it in and giving the gratitude. So if you do enjoy journaling, absolutely journal gratitude, 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 and that really does help. And every time we do say thank goodness, like I'm here today and I can, I do have shelter, I do have food, because a lot of people don't. And with the economy the way that it is, the way that's going, it's going to become more so. It's like, thank God, thank God, thank God. So writing that down really does help, raising our frequency and vibration. And then again, we feel lighter when we're open, receptive to suggestions and ideas to help us move ahead. So gratitude is a really big part of it. Absolutely. So back to your mentioning journaling, I think that's a very good idea. If that's something you feel guided to, then definitely journal. See the progress throughout the days and weeks.
Yeah, that's a great point, right? To kind of stay on point, but also see how far you've come.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
so
need
great.
to have that measurement.
Yeah, so true. True. So when it comes to like quickly removing blocks, do you feel like it's something we can do on our own because of some methodologies we've learned or other tips we've heard from somebody else? Or do you feel like there's so much hidden from us that we really need to take in and
Well,
call out to somebody?
really, you can learn to do this yourself, and I would help you. So I'm an emotion code, body code practitioner for the last 15 years. And this is by chiropractor, Dr. Bradley Nelson. So I've been doing this for a very, very long time. There's a method, and it's called the emotion code, and I'm certified in that. I love to teach, I love to coach. So the goal is to get everyone empowered. So you're not coming back to this practitioner all the time, whoever it is. You learn to tap into what emotion am I holding on to at a subconscious level, say 90, 95%, that's blocking me from moving ahead as to my business. I help people learn to muscle test, get strong as to muscle testing, and I guarantee that you will. If your person is going like, oh, I don't think I can do this, I then dig deeper, find out why that is, what happened, clear that for you, so then you can come back, get strong to muscle test. So there is a method called the emotion code, and it's very simple. We can all do it. It's columns and rows of testing what you could be holding at a subconscious level for anything. So say you got a pain in the neck and it's just really hard to do anything throughout the day. Find out, is there a trapped emotion that's related to the pain in the neck? And so I teach the person to do that. And say you're going, oh, gee, there's a trapped emotion of abandonment. Say that comes up. Okay, then we go through the process of clearing that energy that carries its own frequency and vibration of abandonment that may be generational. And when you go through the process of clearing, which I help you learn to do, which of course you can do, then a lot of times people feel release, less pressure on a physical level, emotional level. So definitely there are tools. There are so many tools, and it doesn't have to be complex. It can be simple that you can go, okay, I want to do this for myself, and then maybe I'll work on my dog, or I'll work on my, my son, or I'll convince my neighbor that I'm learning this and I would really love to try it with you, and you get excited about it. So yes, it's time to step up, and we can do this. And it doesn't have to be complex. There's a lot of very good, it just seems so simple that, oh, it can't work. It just, you doubt that it can work. But their tools are out there. And then start working on yourself, getting stronger, and then just go from there. So lots that can be done.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I did. And it's fun. It doesn't have to be a chore. Like it's fun. I mean, my fun, maybe that sounds crazy to some people, is actually doing the work, is doing what I do. If I'm pulling cards, if I'm clearing trapped emotion, if I'm tapping, if I'm just downloading light language, which I do. So if there's a multitude of ways that we can help ourselves and then learn to help others. So we need to continue this. This is how the world's going to heal. We need to get those downloads and be at a higher percentage, so that the darkness that's in the world, because it's there, there's no doubt. Nobody can deny that. The darkness is there. So what are we going to do? And one by one, it's like prayer, just asking for assistance. Try out this modality, and maybe I'll do some tapping, releasing my own fears, or whatever that is. There's a multitude of ways not to get discouraged, and knowing that there's help out there, and that you can help yourself. Firstly, do it for yourself. Number one, it's not for somebody else, for you. Then you're stronger. Then you can help somebody else. But we have to take care of you. You're the priority right now. Period.
Yeah, so good. I mean, it just highlights how we are the best investment, right? Because what's stopping us is really us not knowing what is stopping us. And so, but also too, having that freedom key to unlock that door to say, hey, I could do it all myself, and I could have the power that I need to change my life.
Well, we don't realize that we're connected to so many falseness in the world. We are connected with the educational system, with the medical system, with the pharmaceutical system, with the government. There's all of these systems. And the more that we're awake, where you see through what's going on, you're recognizing that what you were told may not be the truth. It's waking, being awakened. And then that's when really things start shifting, and not going along with the narrative. Well, just, go along. This is what you need to do. Be that curious soul. Find out, well, why? Ask the questions. What's going on? Why am I feeling this way? And then be prepared to take care of yourself and do the work. Work on yourself. You're the priority.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, it really highlights that, this concept that people talk about is self-love, right? If you love yourself enough to stop maybe, tripping over the same stick, or really taking your health into your own hands and your life in your own hands. Yeah.
Well, the thing with self-love, we could come into Earth with not having any self-love. So we can't be so hard on ourselves, like, oh, we just don't love ourselves. It could be your ancestors, your parents didn't have self-love. So if they didn't have self-love, and you come into Earth, and then you're in a chaotic family dynamics, how do you learn to love yourself? It's impossible. That's impossible. It takes time. So if you're in a really dysfunctional situation, you're not going to love yourself. You have to learn to do that.
Yeah, so true, right? I mean, we learn so much from our environment growing up that if we never knew what it was, how do we know what it is? It's like,
Then it's if it's not there, and if they didn't have it, and it's not, and it's having, which I've had to learn, is like, well, my gosh, they probably did the best that they could for what they had. And then how many, you can actually test how many generations back. You can ask how many generations did, my mother, where there was no self-love, 1, 10, 20, 30, 35, could be 40 generations. You don't know. And this is the fun part of where you learn to muscle test into the subconscious and ask those questions and then do some clearing and healing work. And what's really fun, and I have to say this because it sounds maybe way out there, but a lot of the times you can help your ancestors who have crossed over. So if they didn't have the self-love, by you clearing it for yourself, or clearing those issues for yourself, you're now helping them on the other side.
oh, yeah, very true. I
And
mean,
you can ask, oh, is my, okay, I just want to connect with my grandmother. And by testing, you can ask, is my grandmother here today? A lot of times you would be surprised if you call them in, they're going to be by your side. It's fascinating and very empowering. And when you learn to clear ancestral, your ancestors, and then work through the lineage to yourself with intention for your children, it gives you so much fulfillment, self-fulfillment. It really does. It's just makes you, it's going to make your day.
yeah, that's beautiful. I mean, I can relate because I've had ancestral stuff cleared out. One of the one was a big block with generational poverty thinking and and all that. So that was wild to realize, like, wow, no wonder why I've been having such a trouble all this time. And then it came up, and the funny thing about it was that they said that somebody said when it was happening, it's about time. Like one of the family members
Right.
was saying, well, it's about time, right? So it's like
Yeah.
like you were saying, it's about time that we kind of, realize like
Well,
we need to work on ourselves and help ourselves.
right. And the thing is that we can have curses in the way. Let's just bring this up. There can be entities, black magic, and curses. This is for real. So it could be that you go through the process, and I certainly do that as in my call. If I feel guided, I'll go, is there an offensive energy that you're holding on to? You have no idea that's blocking you from moving ahead with your business. Identify what it is through my process. Then I go through prayer and releasing that offensive energy. A lot of time people feel lightness. They're just going to you feel better. So knowing that the darkness is out there, and that it can affect us, absolutely. There's all of these parts, but the main thing is that making it simple. Okay, what can I do for myself right now? So you do what you can do for yourself right now. And that's where we take you through, okay, learn the emotion code. And the thing is so cool is that I can test what you're testing. So say you go through and I teach you, okay, now let's find it. Let's discover. I have you go through, check, and you go, bewilderment. Oh, I got this trapped emotion of bewilderment, and I can feel it in my chest area or whatever. And so I'm testing and checking in truth. Is that what yes, it is. So I'm confirming what you're picking up on, then I get you to clear it. I'm sitting back because I don't want my intention to, this is for you. You learn to do that. Oh, is that trapped emotion, that bewilderment, which is like an offensive energy, has that been blocking me from moving ahead with my business, from being able to see the possibilities. So there's many aspects, and not to discount anything. There's dark energies out there. That is the reality. And it's becoming, to me, more evident every single day. And the more we can see through what's going on, the more awareness we have, the more that we can help ourselves and just raise our frequency and vibration so that we get those ideas and inspirations as to our health, as to our business, and just generally moving ahead in life.
Yeah, that's great that you touched on that point. Again, I have experience with that too, where I was during energy healing school, that you've seen a lot of these dark entities or things happen where they were removed, but then also too, I had to deal with it and then learn how to remove myself. So again, you're given that ability to take care of stuff when it needs to be in a timely manner, just because
Right.
you know what to do. Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
very, very important point.
Oh, it is. And yeah, just having the awareness, and every time we get ideas, we're just raising our levels of consciousness, and then more inspiration will come our way. So it's just trying not to get blocked, and being open, and being open to our to the right people, the right time. Believe that synchronicities, they really do happen. You know, it is for real, and that's to help guide you in the right direction. So, I mean, I've definitely had that through all my experiences of near-death experiences. So I actually have one I would like to share, Daniel, if we have time, because it's pretty cool.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so many years ago, I had a cardiac arrest. I was to go in for day surgery to see if I had cancer in my ovaries. And so I was coming in, and just day surgery. They're just going to check things out. Well, as it turns out, I had a cardiac arrest, and they was just like, "What? This is not supposed to happen. It's day surgery. We're just going to check." And I went right into cardiac arrest. And I had a sense before I went to the hospital, like I had a really ominous feeling about things. And I was very nervous about it. I could feel it. But when I was told I had a cardiac arrest, and I was just like, what? And they're wheeling me to the cardiac section of the hospital. And everybody was really, really nice to me. And like, oh my gosh, the poor lady had the cardiac arrest. And I remember that night, because I'm shocked. It's just like, what happened? I was supposed to have this day surgery. I remember there was a clock in front of me. 3 a.m, this lady standing beside me. And she's saying to me, "I'm sorry, this just wasn't supposed to happen." Like, she was this sweet lady at 3 a.m. I distinctly remember that. I thought, wow, she's just so nice and so loving. The next day, it's like somebody turned off the light switch, and they came in, and totally different attitude towards me. The nursing staff, it was like, what happened? So the bottom line is that they were concerned about that they would have a lawsuit against them. And I know I reacted to the anesthesia. So they're concerned about a lawsuit, and I thought they really turned on me. And different things happened there. I just had to get out. I got out, got back to our acreage, which is outside of the city of this major city. At our acreage, and I'm just like I just had this image of a bear energy, like just lots of energy. I think I got a big download at that time in the hospital, an energy download. Because I came out of just like, nobody messed with me. I was just like, I had a freaking heart attack or cardiac arrest. So my husband, so this sounds kind of crazy. We had an acreage, we had some donkeys. I'm just saying, we had some miniature donkeys, and we were in this treat area. And my husband's at a football game in Arizona, and I'm looking after the acreage, and I'm actually feeding hay to the donkeys, and I have this moose that charges me. And we know how big moose are, because it's looking at the hay thinking, I want that hay and I want her out of here. It comes down and I'm in shock as this moose is charging me. And so obviously I'm running in the house, slam the door. And then I got really mad. I thought, how dare you? How dare you? Like, I'm thinking this to myself about this moose. I went out again, tried to pretend it didn't happen. The same process. I'm trying to feed hate, and it charged me again. I would never do that today. And I know that, and I ran in the house, slammed the door, and I thought, Brenda, you're crazy. What are you doing? You don't challenge a moose. They're extremely powerful animals. They break down doors. You know, like, and I had this door, and it really was not a solid door, I can tell you that. And like, that was just crazy. But I know I got a download that time in the hospital. I really feel that lady at 3 a.m. in the morning was an angel. I know that might sound crazy. I'm just saying, she was so loving and just so caring. And then the next day was just like, boom, treated totally different. And they were scared. They were scared of a lawsuit. So I was given that experience, and I write about that in my website. So it's, we get these challenges, and I was being directly challenged. And anyways, I just wanted to mention that. So
Yeah.
crazy things that happen, and is to put us back in the lane. Okay, this is what you're to do, and I just got more and more into the energy work. And then things are coming, I want to take this course, take that course. It's never ending. Once you open up the door, it's endless about the information that comes in, and it's very freeing. I mean, don't you find, Daniel, like when it's just very freeing, because you know that you're on the right path, and you're curious, and it's endless learning.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what reminds me of the phrase about enjoy the journey, right? Where, even though it may be challenging at times, it's just, you got to look at it from this perspective of it's just temporary, but it's to help you, not to hinder you.
To help you become stronger. And we need to be very, very strong.
Yes.
And because there's people that could be hurting in our family, around us, in the community. So it's reaching out with other people who feel the same way, with like-minded people. You have your communities, and there can be different types of communities, but where you can express yourself, talk about things, where you're not feeling shunned, and be yourself, be your authentic self.
Yeah, very true. That's great. So now, since you brought that up, I'm glad. What would you say that you would describe somebody that's living like an amazingly authentic life?
Being true to yourself as much as possible, and being authentic about it. We all want to put a face on when we go out the door, like everything is fine or whatever, being who you really are, and being brave about it. So this is being authentic, being, not having to hide that part of you. So from most of my life, I had to hide that intuitive side, because Brenda does this, energy work, even though I did corporate, even though I worked in 2 international countries. But she, this woo-woo stuff, that's hard. That's hard, because you're feeling judged, and who wants to be judged? But if you work through that, keep working through that, it's just like, I'm unstoppable now. I am unstoppable. And so the more that you can just be who you are, and but of course, you want to be respectful towards others as much possible, etc. But just being yourself, and being, then the more you will love yourself. Like I've had to go through this to get to this point, but we can't hide from ourselves. There's no point putting a mask on, is maybe there's times that you're in a social situation, we got somewhat of a mask on to get through it. But if to be your authentic self as much as possible, and that will make you really, really do have that self-love. And then we can breathe deeper. We feel better about ourselves. And then things will more naturally flow. So the more that you can learn simple tools, which are there, and I help people with that. If you feel blocked, well, I can't do whatever that is. Okay, let me find out, because I do my past life readings. Is there something here? What happened there? Maybe that needs to be cleared within your systems, and then move ahead. So learn some simple tools, being as authentic as possible, as mentioned, and do what comes naturally to you. Like, make that part of your livelihood, your income. It has to be authentic. People see through it. You have to be, if you really want to be successful.
Yeah, so great. I love that. Yeah, really kind of just thinking while you were speaking was that, like, how much energy we put towards things that keep us from being authentic. Example of like judging other people or judging ourselves, right? That's a huge amount. Yeah.
Well, we also have to recognize that the social media is also keeping down our vibration. So how much energy do we put towards, I don't know, Facebook and what's going on over here, or Twitter, or whatever? How much energy do we give towards the mainstream media? Look for the independent journalists. Do your research, ones that see things differently. So, because that all drags down your energy. So be conscious. Okay, well, I want to know what's going on. So I'm not blindsided if they impose this, if they impose that. And we feel that more here in Canada, which I'm Canadian. So it depends on your country. So you have to be aware of your surroundings, know what's going on. Okay, this could be coming down the pipe, that they could impose this. So having the awareness, and then get on with your day, get on with your life. Be prepared not to, wow, I just want to think about it because it doesn't make me feel good. Have the wisdom to, okay, this is going on. What do I need to do? Maybe that's stressing me out, but I need to know what's going on to a certain degree, and then get on with your day. And it's a real balance. It's a very much a balancing act. I go through that in my day. There could be things out of your control. So, like I mentioned, there's entities that are there. They can pull you down the rabbit hole. You're totally unaware. So it's having the awareness, doing the best that you can, learning some tools, and getting on with your day, and making it be the best that you can with what you have.
Yeah, so true. That's great points. Well, we learned a lot today with finding clarity and gaining ground so we could better navigate our life. So thank you for that. And just lastly, we do have a free gift for everybody that joined today from Brenda, if you would mind just explaining what that is for everybody.
Well, firstly, if you go to my website, brendalainoff.com, and sign up, you'll automatically receive gifts there. But the one that I'm excited about is what I've just created, which is called Authentic, which is coincidental. We're talking about authentic. It's Authentic Community. So what it is, it's a Zoom group call. And you will have access to 2 calls. And we meet in a group setting. I intuit. Where do we need to go? What is the priority? So for one person, it might come up as boundaries. They're not strong on their boundaries, and we need strong boundaries. Absolutely. So it could be, okay, well, they're only 3 out of 10 for having a strong boundary. Why is that? I intuit what that is, do a download for the whole group to increase the boundaries. As I'm trained in pathogenics, I could be, oh, well, I'm detecting that there's a Coxsackie virus that a lot of us may have here. Then I go through a process to clear out that pathogen. With those 2 calls, you get the replay, the Zoom replay. You will have also the audios, the personal audios that I record in that Zoom call. So you can add that to your library. So depending on what the subject is, then you can, it could be whatever. And I take you to what the highest priority for the group. So you get the Zoom replays, you get the audios, and I'm offering that for anybody that comes through you, Daniel. They have access to that. And right now, that's like a $33 gift. So,
Perfect.
yeah.
Great. Well, thank you very much for sharing that. And thank you for coming on the show.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
And I appreciate it. And yeah, we'll just do the best that we can with what we have and live in a higher frequency and vibration is what our goal is every single day, no matter what's occurring around us.
Yes. Well put. Yeah. To give us the inspiration we need to just do with what we have. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Well, thanks everybody for joining us on the Breakthrough Your Limiting Belief Summit. Make sure you stay tuned for the next one. We'll have great speakers coming up as well. And take care for now.